Hello everyone, Galidorn back again, playing Raid Shadow Legends. So, today is the first day of the Armanz fusion, and we have received one of the best gifts I've ever seen, actually, I think, from Raid. So it's one of those progressive ones. Of course, you don't get it all at once. Starting off with the Sacred. Usually it builds up to something like that. Then it goes on to a legendary book on day 5 with some ancient shards and some void shards, so all of them be very beneficial to the fusion itself. I did need some extra shards, so this is a very good thing to see. Glad they did this. Okay, so this is, I guess, part of a larger festival. So that means we're probably going to see some other kind of event after the actual fusion, probably one of those card flipping ones.
No way.
And as I said before, this is a champion fragment fusion, not a straight on fragment fusion. So we've got to get 200 fragments of these champs and then ascend them and level them and everything. The champion training tournament has started, so I'm going to crack on with that right away. The level is 7,850. It's quite a lot, but it's over 3 days, 4 days of this tournament. So I think that is fairly achievable. As you can see, I have not claimed any of my energies yet from the quests. I'm going to complete them. I was kind of saving them for the start of this fusion, so I'd have all the energy ready and available for me. I'm going to start off with some tavern work before getting into the running of campaign for farming. So I'll start with just as I always do with my lowest levels. I'll start off with the brew technique. I throw in 2 into 2 stars, 3 into 3 stars, 4 into 4 stars, so up.
Even the boy get it.
And now I've leveled up a few up to, my 2 stars and my 3 stars. Now I get into I'm going to level up a 4 star into a 5 star chicken. And I'll progress along, and of course I'll do this throughout the tournament.
Are you not entertained?
Utilizing my lower levels as much as possible, saving my higher levels until I need them. I don't want to burn them out too quickly, because you can really develop quite a lot actually at the lower levels at the 2 stars and the 3 stars. And here we go. Here's the first level 5 chicken in this event, in this tournament. Alright, so I've already attained the first reward. I'm sitting in 3rd spot. I do not anticipate finishing very high. And for this one, I'm going to be farming 12-6 on Nightmare. I choose 12-6 on Nightmare when I really want to ramp up both the silver and the experience. Usually, if I'm not really participating in an event for champion training, I'll farm the same level on Brutal with my Skull Crown, because I can do it usually about 7 seconds a run with the Skull Crown. So it takes a bit longer here, a bit more energy. However, in the time period, it's the best experience and the best silver. And as I mentioned before, I have decked out my Trunda. Don't really use her in the arena that much, but she serves a vital role for me here as a campaign farmer at the highest level. And so we see here, I finished off those run of 13, my first 13 runs of this fusion, and got some chickens for it. It's all very good. As we can see, the Dragon Tournament has started. So interesting, they didn't quite start at the same time. The Dragon Tournament started like a half an hour later, it seemed, than the champ training. Okay, so anyway, we've got to get 2250 points for those 25 fragments. And I'll be doing it most likely on normal stage 20. That's usually where I always end up. I'll start some runs here now with it. I'll do some experimentation though on stage 7 in hard and stage 22 in normal, which are all magic affinity, which is the best affinity for this team. As always, it's my poison exploder team with Zavia. Start off with 9 runs here. Yeah, after these runs, I will experiment a little bit to see how many points I get on average for the time and the energy I'm spending. Having said that, though, it always does come back to normal 20.
60% of the time, it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
So this is where I will most likely be farming. My Dragon Farm at 20 usually is the fastest run as well. It should end up being under 2 minutes. Yeah, I know that's not the blazing fast. A lot of people scoff. And also, probably a lot of people say, well, why don't you use your Dragon team to farm your chickens too? Yeah, well, I don't, okay? All right. I set up this Dragon team quite a while ago, and it works. I'm not about to dick around and screw around. You know, I can do both. I can do the farming. Even though it's not efficient. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so I'm looking at this schedule for the first time. Let's take a look at it. So at first glance, it does seem to be a regular setup that they have for the Fusion. So starting off with the Dragon Tournament, and then, yeah, we have the corresponding Dungeon Divers event that looks to be starting more towards the tail end of the Dragon Tournament. So, yeah, so they start off with a Dungeon Tournament always, and then they ramp up the Dungeon Divers event. But this one looks like it's a little back further. Like, it seems that the Dragon Tournament goes on a little longer before they start the Dungeon Divers. Because usually the Dungeon Divers comes in about halfway, and they've started off right off the bat with the Champion Training Tournament. It seems to me that in the past, the Champion Training Tournament may have started a bit after the Dragon Tournament, which allowed you to bridge the gap between the first dungeon and the second Dungeon Tournament with the Dungeon Divers with your Champion Training. But they've started them both off at the same time and moved the Dungeon Divers event back a little bit. So that means, yeah, you kind of have to put off your campaign farming and your dragon a bit longer to maximize in the Dungeon Divers event, because usually the Dungeon Divers events are the most taxing in terms of your energy expenditure and time expenditure as well, with multi-battles. Because if I remember correctly, I think the Classic Arena would have been up farther in the event. And then, of course, we have the Ice Golem tournament. So this is fairly tricky. You almost have to back end a lot of what you're going to do in the Dragon and the Champion Training. So in the first part of the Champion Training, it's just a lot of tavern work, if you've got the resources saved up, and then back end
Fuck a stranger in the ass!
most of the campaign farming, along with your Dragon running towards the end of those two. So that's kind of tricky, because you don't want to expend all your multi-battles, a lot of your energy, right off the bat in the first two tournaments, and then you got nothing left in the tank for the Dungeon Divers, or very little left in the tank for the Dungeon Divers, because then the Ice Golem starts up halfway through that Dungeon Divers. So yeah, energy and multi-battles kind of saved for the last half of the Champion Training and the Dragon Tournament. Okay, so the Summon Rush, no problem there. I've got lots of Void Shards. I'm not concerned about the Summon Rush. That should be okay. Artifact Enhancement, Silver right now, not a problem. It should be okay. It'll dovetail in then when you start to do a lot of runs as well for your campaign and the Dragon, so you should build some Silver there, so that's okay. Going into the Ice Golem tournament, okay, that synergized in well. Dungeon Divers will be halfway through. Okay, so it seems fairly normal, except for the placement of the Dungeon Divers event back a bit, and the Champion Training was right up front. I don't know. I've had to look at past schedules, but that just seems to be a little bit of a departure. Okay, so the next then, as we're doing the Ice Golem tournament, okay, so the next after that will be Artifact Enhancement down there at the bottom, and we're going right into another Dungeon Divers event. Looks to be right at the tail end, maybe overlapping a little bit with Ice Golem, or, you know, actually, it looks like Ice Golem is ending at the same time the Dungeon Divers event, the second one, is beginning.
Motherfuckers.
That's a little harsh, I think, because there's nothing for the first half of that Dungeon Divers event until we have the Champion Training and the Fire Knight again happening simultaneously. So yeah, you got to kind of you're almost wasting the first half of that Dungeon Divers event and then back-ending a lot of it with the champion training and the Fire Knight tournament. Honestly, don't like the placement of where these Dungeon Divers events are in relation to the other activities. It's a bit of a concern. All right, then we have the Champion Chase tournament starting after the Fire Knight tournament, so it's about halfway through, a little over midway of the Champion Chase. That's fine. I think I'll have more ancient shards built up by then, probably some sacreds. I got those champs in the fragment pool there waiting in the summon altar. So I like that that's back a bit. Looking for the... Okay, so there's the next champion training out. Okay, that's good. Yeah, so yeah, I was right in my assessment. The champion chase does overlap with the champion training. So when I pull those guys out, I'll have, you know, and you know, I'll be pulling a lot of blue chickens. So that should take me through the champion training, depending on if, you know, I'm judicious about my resources and I still have the you know, the amounts of energy and multi-battles and silver left to carry me through on that. So I'm fine with that. The champion chase going with the champion training event like that. Then we got artifact enhancement, again overlapping with champion training, silver intensive. So silver's got to be in the middle of this calendar. Silver has to be worked up. Okay. Then we got another classic arena, problem there. Finishing with a spider tournament and a third Dungeon Divers event. Now, okay, so this is going to be the crux of this fusion. Those 3 Dungeon Divers events, plus their placement, that is going to be tough. That is going to be where this fusion is made, because this is not a fragment. I don't like the champion fusions, where you collect the fragments for the champions and then fuse them together. I suppose that you could do it in conjunction with the champion training events. So that's what you're going to have to do. In the second champion training event, you're going to have to use these champions that you're going to need to rank up and ascend. So watch your potions, watch your chickens, have chickens available for these 4 guys, because that's an issue as well. It's not like the fragment events. So there's that extra layer. So I don't like the champion fusions as opposed to the fragment fusions. Oh, okay. So I didn't see that on the bottom. I did not see that on the bottom. The hero's path, and it is soulstones, and it is summoning champions from shards. Does it overlap? Okay, so on Monday, March 18th, we still have the champion chase going on, but the hero's path, I don't think it overlaps. I think the champion chase is going to end, and then the hero's path is going to start. Okay, so it does say extra. It does say extra. So you'll need to get everything from these events and tournaments. And then if you don't, there's an opportunity in the hero's path to get the extra ones. So, okay, so that allows you to miss some. All right, so say if you do forego the champion chase, however, I think it's probably going to be weighted more to soulstones. Yeah, okay, so they went and did it. They had the big soulstone event. They boosted the summons for soulstones for the first time, and then they throw a soulstone element into the fusion, but it's not mandatory. It's not needed. It's extra. But however, it is, yeah, with the 3 Dungeon Divers events back to back to back like that, and it's summon champions and summon souls. It's not any kind of getting of an artifact. It's not obtaining artifacts for this hero's path, which, you know, would have been a nice thing in conjunction with the other Dungeon Divers event and the Spider Tournament. So it's going to be something completely different, completely off. It's not meshing with anything else, as it looks like the Champion Chase tournament is finishing, and then the hero's path is starting. Okay, so for all the non-whales, the non-krakens, especially free-to-play casual, especially someone, you know, like me who blew all their soul stones, I might have a few soul stones, the small ones, when it comes to the hero's path that I'll pull. So I'm not going to pull any more. I had planned to pull some more in the soul chase that they had going on to see if I could get the legendary book. But however, okay, now that's off. Any soul stones I get will be held for the hero's path just in case I need them. And it specifically says summon champions from shards, so it's not obtaining. It's not a champion chase. It is a summon. Well, okay, so yeah, the path is clear, I guess you could say here. Is I need to do everything from the calendar. But I mean, that's what I expected. You know, that's always what I expect, because usually they have the extras in, you know, winning the tournaments and stuff. Some of the hero's path too, and I never count on doing that. So everything has to come. So I can't miss anything. I can't miss anything. Okay, so that's the plan. I have to start off strong in champion training and dragon. I won't dip into any of my resources in reserve. So I'll start off, I'll do some tavern work, I'll do some campaign farming, I'll hit the dragon, but only in what I have for that day. So for instance, you know, the energy that I'm going to pick up that day from the quests and whatnot, and the things I have to expend in the day, that's what I'll do. And then I'll hold off. I'll take the foot off the gas. I'll let energy pile back up, come back to it once energy has, you know, refilled on its own naturally. Then I'll reapply, you know, into campaign farming, into dragon, and I won't be drawing on any of my energy refills or multi-battles or anything like that until the first dungeon event starts. So I'm not going to squander those resources right off the bat. So I've got until Saturday, really, to start getting into my resources that I held in reserve. All right, so that's the plan. Let's see if it works out. Again, the crux of it is going to be those 3 Dungeon Divers events. That's the make or break right there. That's the concern. So having said all that, the focus now at the beginning of champ training is going to be a lot of tavern work. So again, leveling up 4s. I'll have to make the lower levels through the campaign farming when I really start to focus on it. But as you can see, I've already made it up to 2,293 points. Just from doing some basic leveling in the tavern. I haven't done any more runs other than what you already saw in the campaign. People are already way ahead, so I'm not anticipating again to be very near the top, although I do think I could probably do a top 10 finish. So those multi-battles and the gems are looking very nice down at the lower. So if I could maintain down in the bottom half of the bracket here, that would be good. And there's going to be some good rewards on the way there. I'll need those gems. The Ancient Shard will come in handy. And of course, I'm always looking for the Essence. Now, the good thing about the tournament, rather than the event, is that you can ascend your champions and you can use tomes as well. So that's going to be part of my tavern work. I have lots of potions for ascending. I got lots of champs for ascending. I don't have that many books, though, but I'll use them right here. I do have a couple of legendary tomes, and I'm going to see if I can get Emic getting his A3 down a bit on the cooldown. Oh, went into his passive. Not really considered his passive, really. When attack while under a shield, a 50% chance of increasing the cooldown of random skill. Okay, so it's cooldowns again. And whenever allies hit points drops below 20%, increase the damage dealt by that ally by 20%. Okay, so I was never really that aware of his passive, but the book went in there. Again, his A3 is only at level 1. And now the reason why I'm doing this is because I showed you a couple of videos ago that he is a main component now of my Iron Twins 15 farm team. Okay, so I went to his A1.
Fuck.
Alright, so I gotta keep pumping books at him until I get the cooldowns on that A3. But I picked myself up 400 points, that's good. Never really realized that Genbo takes so many books. And maybe it's a mistake, he's just another damage dealer, but yeah, I might as well throw the books into him now. Get him out of the way at least. He just takes so many books. And he's now fully upgraded. Okay, so at least he's out of the way. Now, as you can see here, I have not picked up any of my quest energies yet. Some I haven't finished, but I'm going to leave these up to the last. I'm going to let the energy build naturally, and then as I go through, I'm going to leave these in here as long as I can. That way I can maximize my energy production. Getting some nice rewards from Doom Tower. Got some energy, now 5-star chicken. So the Doom Tower runs are flesh-tailing into this nicely, as are the gifts and everything. I'm getting a good feeling. Everything is starting off well. Everything is synergizing really well for this fusion. So as of right now, about halfway through the first day of the fusion, and it has been good so far. It's a good start for me. I'm glad I took a look at the schedule. So to show you where I am right now, starting off with a couple days left. 2 and 3 days left in the first dungeon tournament, which is Dragon, and then of course the champion training tournament. 700, but like I said, because of the Dungeon Divers event, not really putting the pedal to the metal on this one until Dungeon Divers kicks in. So 700, climbing my way up there, so another 1500 to go. It's reachable, given almost 3 days left.
3 days!
So I don't anticipate any problem here. Champion training tournament. Again, as I said, not really put the pedal to the metal in terms of the campaign farming. But with ascensions and bookings and using some chickens and the brew technique, along with a little bit of the campaign farming in the Nightmare using Trunda on 12.6, a little less than halfway there. So with over 3 days to go, this is just the first half day. Yeah, I'm a little more than halfway there. So I do believe champ training is in hand.
I have no hand at all.
So just look at my status. So I haven't burned through a lot of my chickens. I still have a few 40s left because of my running in Doom Tower. I have 15 of the 5-star chickens, 10 of the 4 stars. So I'm looking good. Developing up my 4-star chickens to go into my level 40s already. Again, a lot of that will have to be done in campaign farming once the Dungeon Divers hits. So basically what I've done today is I've not touched any multi-battles. I've gone in and I've purchased a lot of the energy refills, but I haven't touched any. I haven't touched any of my multi-battles. Though from the gift, some of those multi-battles will have to be taken. But I do believe the Dungeon Divers will be hitting when I have to take that first 50 multi-battles out. Mainly I've just used my energies that you get through the quests. Although I haven't taken this one yet, so that's more energy to be used today. So sticking to the plan of just today, using the energies that I'll have to take out of the quests today. So basically, all energy being generated today will be used. As you can see right now, I'm at 89 and 130. So I'm just letting that percolate away, keeping an eye on it. When it reaches the energy cap, go in, run some dungeon, run some campaign farming. And of course, when I'm not doing the any campaign farming, just let these guys sit, stew.
Campbell's Chunky.
Slowly build up. So even though a fairly quiet day, not really ramped up and going full speed on running dungeon and campaign for both the tournaments, I've still reached a very good level for just the first half day going. I did pick up the experience boost that I had sitting in the fusion event. I also picked it up from the advance. I had this sitting there. I did that before I looked at the schedule. If I had looked at the schedule, I may have held off picking those up. Well, I think the one from the event would have disappeared anyway. So it's probably no big deal, but it probably would have been good to hold off on getting them until it was closer to the Dungeon Divers event to be able to maximize the campaign farming in conjunction with the XP boosts. However, if you look back in my mailbox, I do have a couple of XP boosts to extend that out. And, you know, if I need to, I'll go into the gem shop and I will buy XP boost if necessary. I already did, as well as buying the energy refills, I already did buy a big shard pack for 900. But my gems are still sitting well at over 6,000. So I'm well set up in terms of gems to get the energy and shards. And, you know, I could spend a couple of XP boosts as well. Through the quests, there'll be some XP boosts that will get tacked on there in the upcoming week and a half. So one more day, and I'll also have another Void Shard and another Sacred Shard. I bought a Void Shard out of the Tag Team Bazaar. I did pick up a Sacred Shard from Clan Boss yesterday, or this morning I should say. So Shard's looking good. Yeah, so I'm very happy with how I've started. I think the fusion is well in hand. There'll be some stress points coming up, especially hinging between those 3 Dungeon Divers events. So if we can make it through those stress points and have a resilient approach to it, everything should work out. So I do think, based on the half day, that the Armanz fusion is well in hand.
Man hand?
The hands of a man.
So I hope things are progressing the same for you guys. That it's well in hand for you, those
Stop it!
who have chosen to go for this fusion. I hope you like the new decoration. I find it very fun to look at, actually. Very appealing. Little man-eater on there bouncing on the barrel, doing some juggling. And I do believe that is actually the fusion in the middle there, Armanz, doing some juggling, setting off his fireworks for Aethel and Arbiter there. They're getting all giggly, googly-eyed over there. Showing off for him. Look at the Chad.
I friggin' love you!
And of course, you know, a little bit of going on down there in the corner with Gallic and Zargala. Gallic making a fool out of himself, being a real pussy. And of course, Zargala coming in there, girl boss, showing the way it's done. Give me that thing, she says. You weak ass little piece of shit. Boom, and she sets it off, of course, you know. But, you know, you anticipate that. Takes back the drinking horn. So, yeah, it's fun to look at. And other than that, I hope everything is going well for you in real life. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.